Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, I want to thank you for stopping by for episode 47 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching live on YouTube, thanks so much for stopping by, and be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the show. A huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias and Chow. Thank you so much for your generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. So today we will be discussing Inter Miami's most recent defeat at the hands and feet of Vissel Kobe. They went down 4-3 in pens. So take it away, Chris. What were your initial thoughts coming off that match since you woke up at the ass crack of dawn to watch it?
So that was going to be my first thought. It was really early when I was watching this. I was half asleep, one eye open, one eye closed. But it was a 0-0 match. There was not much to say about it. There's not a lot of action. We saw a lot of almost highlights once again. You know, Luis Suarez had an almost bicycle kick goal. Messi got on there like a freaking jitterbug. He just sparked the team completely when he got on there to, at the 60th minute, I believe it was. He had two chances back to back off of a ricochet or rebound, and he missed both, but very good chances as well. Attack wasn't anything special today or this morning. Our defense seemed to hold it together as well. Noah Allen continues to show what he has in center back, which is kind of promising. You know, we don't expect him to be a world beater, but he's continues to do his job once again. We did see something bad. We did see a Busquets injury. We are monitoring that to see exactly what that entails and what the future looks like. So that's something to really keep a close eye on. If he goes down, I mean, that's a huge hit. He's a quarterback there in the center of the team. So I think we saw a little bit of Gregory move in there and kind of take his place, but it's just not the same without him in there facilitating everything in the central field. So not too many goods, but not too many bads either. You know, penalty kicks, it didn't matter. I mean, if you guys saw it, I feel like they were a joke. The players didn't. I don't even think the players cared, to be honest. They were just kind of just going up there kicking and whatever. So penalty kicks, I don't care. Again, we don't care about the win or loss. We want to see the progression. Did we see progression today? I'm not sure we did. I didn't see a regression though, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. When I was watching, the first thing I noticed, I kind of saw more of the same on defense. For example, very prone to more mistakes. It almost led to a goal for Kobe. It's one of those things where it's like it's gonna keep happening, and the truth is we played a little bit more of an inferior opponent compared to what we're gonna see in MLS. From what I was watching today, it just seemed that it wasn't as the talent wasn't as good. So when those mistakes are happening in the back line, and teams are going to continue to press us, that's our Achilles heel. They're just going to continue to press us, and we just constantly make mistakes back there. If you press us, we're going to make mistakes. It's a fact. So it just happens to always lead to almost goal. But I think in the MLS, we're going to get a lot more goals in that fashion. If we don't do something quick now. More of what Chris was saying with the 4-3-3, I kind of like it in the sense of, you know what? So we're not going to be good at defense. Let's take another CB out and let's just add to our strength. We're very strong in midfield, and I guess what it means when you do a 4-3-3, it means that we're basically saying we're going to have Robert Taylor there. That's what that means, and it's fine because it kind of creates a little more push up. Rather than having a Kristoff in the middle, it's not that it's not that it's a bad idea in the sense of more defense, but it could be something that we're like, okay, what's the lesser of two evils? You know what I'm saying? Do another slow center back that we need to upgrade, or hey, Robert Taylor's not that bad in MLS. You know what I mean? So might as well just put him up there. Don't start. I'm trying to be critical, and trying to be fair.
You said that phrase so fast so that we won't be able to just catch it and put it into a video.
Yeah,
I
Robert
caught,
Taylor's not the
I
batting
caught
nowadays.
it.
it's just but for example, he had some good moments with Noah Allen. That was very nice. Noah Allen. There was a time when Noah Allen, Robert Taylor, and Alba were having like a little triangle of fun there with David Ruiz randomly jumping in, and all it was doing was basically they were moving it up slowly, right? But that's not. We didn't get much activity other than that as far as pushing the ball up. To be honest, up until like Chris said, up until Messi got there was not a lot of pushing it up the pitch. It was a very very boring game. It's how I can describe. Am I wrong, Chris?
No,
It was
you're right. And I think,
extremely boring.
yeah.
It was hard to watch. I can't. I'm so sorry you woke up that early. I just watched it when I got home from work. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough watch, and we were dead till Messi got there. The Luis Suarez bicycle kick got me out of my chair. I was like, wow, that was amazing. This guy did not care at all about his back when he landed on it. He was like, I am gonna put it in the back of the net. It was so, man. It was a matter of like he hit it, he got it. I wish he would have got it in, because that would have been. Do you imagine the highlights on that?
Well, this would have been more fun of a conversation if it had gone in.
Yeah. Player stepping up in the game. I was very impressed with Noah Allen. That's you were talking about earlier, Chris, about who has stepped up, who have you seen something with. He's the only guy that I can say that I'm like, man, you know what, this guy stepped up. That's the one guy. David Ruiz did earlier in this World Tour. I kind of think he's regret. I don't know if he's regressed. I just haven't seen him play. Leave it. Say what you want. Has he played? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I'm a little now. I'm just a little worried because I was hoping that we would kind of see what we're looking at already, and I still kind of don't. I don't know where to go with that.
My takeaway from this is same as Chris. I was looking for progression in this game, along with most of the games of the World Tour. It's just been, as everybody feels, it's been a letdown. We expected by this point to see a lot more from this club, but I do agree, and it, as much as it pains me to say, because I've been as critical on this player as anybody out there, Noah Allen has improved. I don't know if it's the shift to center back that kind of narrows his focus on just being in the central defense that has improved. If he has less to worry about, less to think of, he can just do that one job well, because he does have the athleticism to be a factor there. But he has shown growth, which is great. I mean, we want our players to show growth even if we don't like them. Like Jose with Robert Taylor, he's now a huge Robert Taylor fan. So it's nice to see.
I did not say
it's
that.
It's nice to see Noah Allen take steps towards being useful in this defense. He doesn't. I mean, he's not going to grow anymore. So like what we have is what we have with him. So we have to wait to see if once Freire comes into fitness, how that factors into the defense. But yeah, the four in the back kind of focuses his strength in just staying on defense, and that's something that we'll have to see, because if we do stay with four in the back, that's a cultural shift for Tata. That's a philosophical change for him, and it's not bringing those wing backs in attack as he has been as much, because it kind of forces you to be a little more defensive with those back four. But yeah, all in all, well, we'll get to it. I think everybody agrees that this road trip has just been an unmitigated disaster.
And one thing you said there, David, about the four in the back, what did happen? It didn't totally neutralize Alba, because Alba did push the ball up. He did not care too much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he cared too much that he was in a fourth. He was like, I'm gonna go up. That's what I do. And what ended up happening was you saw our CDM slide and kind of take over the in the back line a little bit. So you saw a lot of Busquets in the before he got injured, which is something he went to the back line a little bit and he helped out. And then you start seeing that after Busquets left, Gregory started to step up in that role as well. And yeah, like Chris said, he didn't necessarily step up to the Busquets role like Busquets does, but that's kind of what we've spoken about in the past episodes, where you're not going to get that. He is our quarterback. He's the guy that's constantly looking downfield, shooting the ball over, and we did not get that at all from anyone else in the back line when he left. Did not happen.
I think that's what, at least to me, when I saw the lineup come out and saw that it was a back four, I actually really liked that Gressel was the right winger because it allows Yedlin to get up and Gressel can slide back on top of who, like our midfield was very, I don't want to say they were so defensive minded, but they were not like our most attacking minded midfield. So they could very easily sort of interchange. Like that right side to me is set in stone. Like if we could have Gressel and Yedlin and maybe another piece mixed in there, whether it be Messi, obviously, depending on if he plays more central or out wide. Like to me, the right side is super chill. You have Toto as right center back. You got Yedlin, you got Gressel, you got Gregory even mixed in. Like to me, that's not the problem. To me, the left side is just there's a bunch of question marks because you have Robert Taylor, who's admittedly inconsistent, but I think he's very valuable to us. Noah Allen, same thing, inconsistent, but has a place. Like he's shown that he can earn his keep in this lineup, even though it's Noah Allen. Like we've ragged on him quite a bit, but at the end of the day, he has been one of the few bright spots in this preseason tour that he's like shown some improvement, some ability to like learn and grow. And I think that's the most concerning part of this preseason tour is that we've seen like very small glimpses from some players, but overall we haven't seen like a team growth that we were hoping to see through 6 matches that it's been. And I'm just happy that they're coming home at this point.
Yep, that may be the best thing about today's match. They're finally coming home. We don't have to deal with this world tour nonsense anymore. Alamus PK. Oh yeah. That PKs are a joke. I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, the world tour's over, man. Thank God. I mean, I think our players are over it. Messi's interview, was it yesterday? His interview, he was over it too. You could just tell the way he was talking. He was tired. Like it's too much on them, man. I understand they want to try to grow this brand. I understand that they want to make as much money as they can. They have the most popular player in the whole world. But man, enough is enough. And I think they really stretched this world tour out a little bit too much. I think they bit off a lot more than what they could chew. So it's nice to be coming back home. We got Newell's coming up in a few days. Should be a fun match, little reminiscent of Messi's early days. And yeah, so it's gonna be a relief. We got 2 weeks? 2 weeks before the matches start? Yeah, 2 weeks, 14 days before the first match starts. So we got some time to rest, some time to relax, game plan, and move on to Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, we have the old boys next week, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited just to get us started and see, how I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm a little worried. But I'm gonna tell you guys something. Yeah, I might have booed him on the first PK, but guess what? He missed the second one, and I wasn't there for that one. I was getting a hot dog. So figure it out.
Yeah, so just really quick on Busquets. He got someone stepped on his ankle pretty good. He got subbed off in like the 26th minute, somewhere in like very early in the match. It does seem like it was out of an overabundance of caution that he was taken off. He was seen like walking around relatively normally after the match, so I'm not overly concerned. I'm glad that they just took him off, didn't make him push it. He is obviously one of our older players, so I think we just need to be really careful. Maybe he'll rest against old boys and then just sort of prep for Real Salt Lake. He's been one of the players that has played the most this preseason, so unfortunate that he picked up a knock, but it does seem that he's relatively okay. It's not like Facu. Like Facu was immediately down and out, but Busquets does seem like he's gonna be able to recover and not miss really any regular season time as of now. So that's a silver lining.
Yeah.
Jordi almost had a little bit of a scary moment too. I think I don't know if they bumped his hip or I don't know exactly how it came about, but he did get hit and he was limping for quite some time. So I was kind of holding my breath when I was watching that, but it seemed like he shook it off and just he got back out there and kept playing. But yeah, it was close. It was ugly. These injuries are the worst part of the preseason, to tell you the truth. They're just
They just
Just
need to
so
get home, have some
so
croquetitas.
unnecessary. Yeah, so unnecessary, and I don't know. We've spoken about it plenty, but just very unnecessary to have them play so many minutes and get injured and have all this crazy travel.
We would call it the worst part of this whole world tour, wouldn't we, Chris? That's exactly what we'd call it. The injuries.
Is that what you would choose to be the worst part?
What
I
is your best and
I
worst
would.
moments from this world tour, Jose? What is your worst and best moment?
The best was the almost bicycle kick. That describes it. And the worst would be the injuries. That's the worst part. But you know what? Okay, no, that's not the best. The best would be, you know how you mentioned that the left side, how the right side is solid. I kind of saw growth on the left side. We had a lot of young guys that were trying to get up and running on the same. While they're the biggest question marks, they're also the most dynamic, which is, I'm not gonna say it. So we had David Ruiz there, and he is very dynamic. He's a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. But when you happen to get that flavor that you like, David Ruiz is very nice. The same can be said about Robert Taylor as David Ruiz. I'm not gonna say more on that, but no, Allen has showed extremely good progression, and obviously Alba is a lightning rod. The moment that guy has the ball in his hands, it's just.
I know. We asked you to say one good thing and one bad thing, and now you're just blurting out a million good things.
Sorry, you got me going. All right, I'm just gonna go with the best one, which was the almost bicycle kick. Screw it. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I'll go a little bit deeper into the injury thing. I think Facu's injury just sucks. He was supposed to be that extra piece in the middle, almost like a Messi role, like we've always said. Supposed to be Messi's backup when he doesn't play. So that's a big hit, man. That's gonna be rough. I don't know. We don't have anyone to take that role that has that same play style as Facu. There's no one on this team that does that, obviously, besides Messi. But best thing, I agree with what Jose said. Again, I'll go a little bit deeper into that left side. Noah
almost
Allen
bicycle
has
kick.
been no, that was nice. It was very nice. But Noah Allen was a pleasant surprise. Julio said it. We've ranked on him plenty in this show. We've wanted him out of here. At the end of last season, we were completely over him. We were hoping he didn't show up again. But man, this preseason, he started off a little rough the first game or two because it was a new position. He doesn't really play center back. But little by little, he progressed. He got better. Shoot, where was it? I think was it Al Nasser or Hong Kong? He was kind of playing a little bit of bully ball as a center back, kind of bossing people around, which is nice to see. Not letting people get behind him. So he really grew into that center back role, which was super nice to see, especially with our worries on the defense. So hopefully, like David said, when Freire comes back, we really have a lot more options in center back. And then obviously he could kick out to left back when Alba needs a rest because he's going to have to rest at some point. So I think he's gained a lot of crucial experience in this tour that is really needed from these young guys. So that's definitely a positive.
Yeah, outside of player development, I think the best and worst kind of came for me in the Saudi leg of the World Tour. I know that results don't matter in preseason, but that's exactly what I'm saying is the best and the worst. The best being Al Hilal, that match of, I know they were missing a bunch of guys, but a fun, competitive game that ended in 4-3. It was tight the whole game. It was 3-3 at one point. We were able to equalize. That's something that I think is just what we were looking for with this club. We wanted that to happen. And then, yes, the worst being the result coming in Al Nassr is just an embarrassment. You can't say that we've arrived with Messi and we're going to compete for club championships and all these things, and then just get smacked by a half loaded team in Al Nassr. Granted, I understand that we're preseason, they're midseason form. There's all these other factors that go into it, but have some respect and show out a little bit, because that just, it wasn't there. And after that match, that's exactly what everybody who doesn't like our club or doesn't like Messi was looking for, to stamp and say, there it is. These guys are frauds. Messi's washed. Ronaldo's better. Blah blah blah. All this garbage. That's fuel for them. And my silver lining is I hope that they use that vitriol that they've received for that match and this whole tournament, this whole world tour, and use that to propel them moving forward. It's a hope. It's something that I hope Tata is trying to use to rile these boys up behind closed doors. But yeah, we got to get better, and the injuries are not making it any easier. So guys have to step up.
Man, I wish I had gone before you because I literally have as my best and worst moments Al Hilal, a moment from that match, and then Al Nasser as like an overall just worst moment.
Pick something else.
Yeah, well, my best still applies. I think the David Ruiz goal, the reaction to the goal was still my favorite part of the preseason so far. Just like the pure joy and like Jordi Alba hugging him. To me, that was just like so cool. Like it was so just like genuine, like such a cool just moment. And yeah, like Dave was saying, the Al Nassr match is just like that is a microcosm of the entire preseason, like just a disaster. Like that was really the marquee match of the entire preseason. Ronaldo's not even playing, and you get just curb stomped. And there's just it dominoed into the Hong Kong match where you have Luis Suarez and Messi not playing because they picked up knocks. And that's at that moment, like everyone, like CNN's reporting, ESPN's reporting, saying that preseason Inter Miami disaster, like disastrous preseason. Like that's when it all really like set everything off, and everyone started saying this is just a shit show. Because before that, it was just, oh, they're getting into form. You're seeing the progression. Al Hilal, it was a better game. And then you go into Al Nassr and you just get smacked. And to me, that was just that. After that match, I was just like, let's just go home. Like, let's just go home. Tail between our legs. Like, whatever. I don't care. Just get them out of there. Because it was just bad. Like, even though we won in Hong Kong, it was all negative coming out of that match. So to me, those are the best and worst.
An honorable mention worse is just the overall bad press that we've gotten for this tour. It's like the club's prestige has taken a massive hit. Not that our prestige was very high, but
total backfire.
It's so bad. It's just not what you want to see as a supporter for this club, and everybody already rags on Inter Miami fans for being like Johnny come latelys and oh, you guys are all bandwagons, and every fan base, when they get success, they get new fans. That's something that just comes with any sport, any team.
It's a 3-year-old club. It's a 4-year-old club.
Yeah, exactly. So it's 50 years from now. If you started at this era, guess what? Only 3 years in their existence would you have not been involved. So as long as people stick to this club, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the bad press has been something that's gonna hurt us going forward. But if we start winning, if we win trophies and stuff this season, none of that matters. So that's the beauty of it, that it is preseason. So nobody's winning any major awards in preseason. So we can definitely beat the bad press back with some key victories in season.
Winning cures all.
The only thing I ever like with this kind of like publicity that we're getting is very international, right? Like it's not just like in our little neck of the woods, right? The only thing that we've ever seen like this was when we had the big three with the Heat. I know you're gonna get pissed off, David. Don't talk about basketball as for soccer, okay? But when we were followers watching the Heat, and when LeBron was here, Wade, and all these guys were there, the amount of just like press when we lost one game that we would get, and you would feel as a fan, like the whole world was shattering around you. This is just a preseason, so I'm like, I've been here before, not a big deal. My fandom goes to lengths. We figured out before, but it's like, damn, they're talking about this in Hong Kong. That's crazy.
That's the difference. That's the difference. The anger that the Miami fans had with the Heat was local. That was local to the United States. This is everybody. I'm hearing from all across the world that they're sick of having Inter Miami jammed down their throats. That's how they feel. They feel like they're having a team that has no success, no history, being forced down their throats simply because Messi's on the team. And to some extent, they're right. I mean, here in the United States, we're not getting Ronaldo's Al Nassr shoved down our throats. Granted, he never seems to want to play over here, so like, of course not. But what are you gonna do?
I read this, which I asked. It's a great question. I think it also in the city of Miami in general, we've kind of changed tremendously. Like there's a lot of we've always been one thing though, which is an event town. We've always followed winners. That's not necessarily a good thing with fandom. Like if you in the United States, there's towns like Boston, there's towns like Philadelphia where they're considered more sports towns, and that's the knock that Miami fans have always gotten. But the reason why you're paying these crazy ticket prices because also there's there's a really big resurgence of money pouring into the city, and it's gotten crazy in that sense where if you look at home prices down here, it's constantly soaring. So it's very expensive to just maintain a living down here. So on top of that, you got all these folks that now can pay a lot of money, and they're doing it. And the folks that have always been a fan of these teams, they can't really go to the games anymore because they're priced out. I mean, we used to go to Inter Miami games. How much did we used to pay? $30. I mean, it was very easy to get a ticket.
$30 with a beer and some food.
Yeah, when Messi sits down, it's $60. And because we're still watching the rest of the team, you know what I mean? But man, it's for the final last year, yeah, and it's a final. Those tickets were like $250. It's crazy. I mean, I've been hoping that they would do it in Hard Rock Stadium because it's a way bigger stadium. It allows 50,000 people to go. It's gonna be less expensive, and it's gonna allow a lot more people to enjoy this. Because in 2007, Messi was great, but you know where he was playing? In Barcelona. He wasn't playing here. So it's like, okay, yeah. So it's always been appreciated, but now that he's on your team, it's different.
Also, I think.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I think Chow also was probably insinuating more globally. Where was all this craze? The craze was always there, but why are these people paying so much now to see him in Japan, to see him in Hong Kong? That's what I was going to say. I think it's because he's older. His career is really getting to the twilight, to the end of his career. And some people may not ever be able to see him again, or maybe they've never seen him. And this is their one and only chance to see him before he retires in whatever, a year or two, whatever it's going to be. So maybe that's why people are going crazy to really see this last big world tour all over the place. You know, who knows if they'll have one next year. Doubt it. I think this one went so bad, they probably won't do it again. But I think that's a real reason why everyone's going crazy worldwide to see him internationally now.
When Miami played, when was it? When that game that I always talk about in 2017 when Real Madrid, yeah, it was sold out. I mean, that place was booming, and so I mean, there's always been a interest for him here in Miami, particularly. I just he's played how many times here before Inter Miami played?
The difference with that is like the draw for a Clásico is like the prestigious clubs of Barcelona versus Madrid, one of the all-time greatest rivalries. We're going to Hong Kong with Inter Miami, which has no history, no rival, and the game is with the Hong Kong 11, and that's not there's nothing there. There's no rivalry, there's no history there. Not even any of the players on that team have any kind of history with any player on our team. They're going simply for Messi. So it's understandable to have that outrage when all they do is market Messi, which is the only marketable thing for this club in Hong Kong, and then he doesn't play. Like,
that's wrong.
The outrage is understandable, and I hate that we give them the opportunity to fire at us, but it's deserved, and that's fine. We'll have to move on from it, and we'll have to learn. And maybe next time we do one of these global tours, if we ever do it again, we plan it a little bit better.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember when they announced when Messi's first game was going to be, I remember looking at the ticket prices, and it would show you like the games before, and they were like $6 to $8 to just get into the stadium. And then immediately when he started, they were like $210 just to get in. I was like, dang, times are changing right in front of our eyes. Because imagine you could like you were saying, Jose, like you could go and catch a game for a couple bucks, and then the greatest player in the world joined our team
and take the
and
family,
brought his friends.
And it was a great family outing. It was comparable to it's kind of to the Marlins in the sense where you can go to a game, it's not that expensive, and not break your bank, and your kids can see it, and it was a fun atmosphere. it's a great atmosphere now. Now it's more of a sport atmosphere where you kind of expect it to be in a professional environment.
So you've mentioned Marlins, you mentioned the Heat.
I was gonna say it's like the Panthers.
Guess
Do you have
what?
any Panthers or Dolphins parallels here?
No, I'm gonna mention something that you're gonna hate. Chow mentioned that Beckham when he was in LA and you saw him for like $15. I will say, Chow, I'm not sure if you've seen the documentary about Beckham, but that would actually you guys don't hate it, but I love these documentaries. When Beckham actually was I believe that this one was on Netflix, the Beckham one. When he got to the MLS, he was kind of talking it down, right? He wasn't necessarily happy to play there. If you saw the stadiums that MLS had in general, they were playing on NFL stadiums converted to soccer, which is not suited. It wasn't the league that it is today. It has jumped. But yeah, but there was a lot of fandom that had increased with Beckham. But when they went to travel when he was with Real Madrid, that was pretty nuts. When they went to China, they were showing the buses and how crazy it got for him. He was beloved, but him being beloved is nowhere near how beloved Messi is internationally. Also, right? I don't know. I know Beckham was extremely liked, but I don't know if it's the same thing. I'm not sure. But that documentary kind of helped put it into perspective.
Jose's getting paid by all these documentaries for sure.
I don't know what to tell you. I do a lot of research and I love what I do. I don't know what to tell you.
We're not seeing the three of us aren't seeing a dollar of anything that he's getting from these guys, apparently.
I love them. And I'm telling you, that Beckham one is amazing. Then you talk about the Messi one on Apple, amazing too. I'm super excited. I didn't mention it last time, but folks, the next one's coming. On Messi for I believe it's on Apple's doing another one. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to talk about that one next.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to make a documentary following you watching documentaries about Inter Miami. So next up on the docket is Newell's Old Boys. I think Messi has to play that match just out of like they scheduled them specifically for the tie to Messi. So he has to play.
He has to start that match.
Yeah.
Not just play. I think he has to start that match.
I agree.
Would be
it's also awkward. The first home game since when? Last season? So it's going to be well attended. I think as a fan service, they should start him. Not that they're really paying attention to the outside noise. They're just trying to get as much marketing return as possible. But yeah, Messi has to play. I agree. He has to start. I hope that we actually win and ball out. But I don't know anymore. I say that with such low confidence at this point, which is devastating because I thought by now we would be just clicking and scoring 7 goals per match, which is, unrealistic. But I have just no reason to think that they can score 3 goals, 2 goals, 1 goal maybe.
Yeah, I think winning this match. Yeah, we're still looking for chemistry. I think winning this match is really going to get that momentum going for the first game because it's going to be a week away, right? A week away from that match. So it'll really push us into the season and on a positive note after all the negativity we've had this preseason. So it'll really push us into that first match. Hopefully we see that chemistry that David just said really just kind of come together. I want to see the final formation with all the final starters on there. Maybe Busquets we won't see because of this little injury he picked up, but I want to see the final product before we go into the season. I don't think we've seen that yet. We've seen a lot of interchange in players and formations, and it seems like we settled in maybe in our formation, but we still haven't settled in the starting pieces in that formation. So it'll be nice to see just a final formation and then just go from there right into the wind, into the season. And
I don't think that's sold on any of the formations that he's rolled out with.
That's tragic and alarming. And if that's so, we'll leave this talk for another time. But Tata, what's his future looking like in Miami? So if you can't figure that out.
It's funny, we were talking about this in before, And I'm kind of buying into that a little bit. What Chris is saying about the Tata, because what's funny is that okay, so last year we kind of gave him a break where we said, okay, maybe he doesn't have the players that he wants for this kind of a system, right? But we also have the benefit of having Spoelstra on the Heat, and with that, or what I was going with that is when you have a very good coach, you have to figure out with what you have, and you have to have in-game adjustments. And I don't know if I ever really see him do many good in-game adjustments. I don't know if it's more so when they do an in-game adjustment, I almost think it's Messi saying, I'm going to do something different, figure it out, I'm going to do something different. But if he's not playing, I don't see many in-game adjustments. And it kind of is a little bit worrisome because you do need to have that element of some kind of strategy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. We used to have we have a follower, but there was this guy that always talked about that you would talk with him on Twitter all the time. I think it was about Pepe, and it's just funny. You bring in like a you don't remember? Okay, so but
No,
but
we
it's,
remember his name was not Pepe. It was Artek.
No, but he was talking about, I think, Pepe Mourinho.
Oh,
No, I think you're talking about
Pep Guardiola.
No?
Pep
Guardiola. Yeah,
Pep.
yeah. Man City.
Okay. So, and it was just funny how he break down Tata's comparison to Pep, and it was just like they're not the same.
And that's just art. And he still is very adamant that Tata is just not that dude. And he loves Pep
Yeah. And I'm starting to like
for
believe
good
it.
reason. Yeah.
I'm starting to
We
believe
are
it.
we are optimistic on Tata, but we I think in this podcast we try to look at things through a rose colored glasses. We want to see the best in this club, and that's every aspect of the club. We're aware that we haven't seen what we need to see from Tata, from other players in this team. But yeah, we're gonna root for our guys until they're not our guys anymore, and then we can really dump on them.
Yeah, I do agree though, Jose. I think like I haven't seen Tata really do in-game adjustments. Like it to me, it feels like when he gets punched in the mouth that he just doesn't know how to respond. Because I can think of 2 times where we came back from being down. One was against FC Dallas in the Leagues Cup, and that was all Messi to bring us back. He forced the own goal, and then he scored the free kick as time was expiring.
The most powerful own goal I've ever
Most
seen.
beautiful own goal you'll ever see in your life. And then the second one was against FC Cincinnati, where Campana, of course, saved us. But Messi played the ball over to him. Like Messi pulled stuff out of his hat and just like brought us back to life. And it was fully reliant on Messi. Like it wasn't anything that Tata was doing. It was just like you said, like Messi being like, all right, I'm just gonna take over. Like I'm just gonna dominate and I'm gonna change the outcome of this game. Because to me, it wasn't anything that Tata was doing. And to me, I haven't seen in-game adjustments. Like I remember years ago when Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge of Manchester United, like if they were down and
also
there was like
also on the Beckham podcast, on
okay,
the Beckham
thank you.
Documentary.
Perfect. I'll be sure to watch it never. So Sir Alex Ferguson, like those Manchester United teams, like if they were ever down or in a situation when they were going to draw, like at home, and you were getting into like the 80th minute plus, dude, like they would press opposition so hard and you would feel the momentum so much that you just knew a goal was coming. And so many times you would see like just a final minute goal from Manchester, or you would just see like the other team just collapse because they were so focused and like they were able to do so much. And that comes from like insane coaching. And obviously I'm talking about like one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest managers of all time in Sir Alex Ferguson. But like that doesn't show any signs of being able to adjust on the fly. He just sort of rolls out with the system and is like, well, good luck. I hope having Messi like is enough. And to me, it's a big worry. Like you said, Dave, like we try to look through it in a positive lens because obviously we want the best for our team. And right now that's what we got. But yeah, it is worrisome as time goes on and we don't see these things.
Yeah, like I'm holding on hope that Jurgen Klopp, I think he's leaving now, right? So I'm kind of holding on hope that all of a sudden we figure it out and we bring him over. That's best case scenario. But no, on a serious note, I mean, yeah, you can't help but while you're hoping that it turns around, and maybe you give a little bit of excuses of like, he doesn't have his team yet, he doesn't have his players that he's chosen yet, but it comes to a point where like, yeah, but you kind of have this team and you kind of have to figure it out. We still want to make the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs. Like it's just I don't care that our players are international. Everyone had international. I understand. We understand that, and we're we were understanding because we saw how tired they were on the pitch and stuff like that. But a lot of it was like, how much could the manager have adjusted? How much could we have prevented them from being so tired at the end? You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not overly impressed with the guys he's like with the offseason moves. Gressel, I think, was a fantastic addition, but like letting Kamal Miller go, I think that's a huge mess up. And I don't know if it came from the front office. I don't know if it was related to the amount of money we were going to pay him on the contract deal. But to me, like, I think we've overall worsened a little bit. I mean, obviously Luis Suarez increases our potential, but I'm not like overly impressed. I don't think Luis Suarez was a byproduct of Tata. I think it was a byproduct of Messi. Same as the in-game adjustments.
And Suarez helps us. I mean, I feel like we've gone over this. Suarez helps us in the mold of having a more consistent attacker, but also we've lost a speed element on the attack as well. Because even though Joseph Martinez isn't the speedster that he was, we did see flashes of it that he could kind of pick his moments and really put on the burners. We don't have that on our attack anymore. So it's really going to rely more on the system. So the system is more important, and who runs the system is Tata. So that's again, we have to hope for the best. And if the season ends the way that it ended last season, then I think there's going to have to be changes. Yeah,
Tata won't survive if it ended like it ended last season. He just won't. It is what it is.
Mid-season. How about that? I'll take
totally agree.
I think agree. If it doesn't look good mid-season with all the players and all the money that they're spending right now, he's out.
If we continue to look like Inter Miami pre-Messi, if we look like pre-Messi Inter Miami mid-season, there's no way they keep it. There's no way.
The players.
Do you think they can bring in another coach with like that type of gravitas that can kind of manage this group of players?
Zinedine Zidane.
He was in the room.
Conversations with Beckham.
Enough.
I would fire Tata right now for that.
Yeah, enough.
Yesterday.
Make a documentary that I would watch.
Can you imagine Zidane walking into Cincinnati, Ohio as the manager?
You want to talk about gravitas? To dream. Freedom to dream, you know?
There it is. You could put him on your FIFA team at least.
Can't. I don't have enough coins. Oh, man. Anyway, so the Newell's Old Boy match is when, Jose?
Mute.
Oh, I think it's is it on the 15th? I think.
We're asking you.
I think it's on the 15th. That's my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the 15th.
You know why? Because I was talking to somebody that's going to the game, and I could have remembered that he said it was on the 15th on Thursday, and I was looking at the schedule. It was literally 3 hours ago. He put me on the spot, and I totally forgot.
What day does that land on? What day of the week?
That's a Thursday. Because that's the day after Valentine's Day.
Great. So, it's a great present. If anybody wants to give a significant other their gift, I'm not gonna say. We have male and female people listening, so that's a great gift to get for each one. That's what I do for my wife.
I dare you guys to take your wives to an Inter Miami preseason game for Valentine's Day.
We should do a quadruple date.
Yeah,
we should do a quadruple date Inter Miami. Valentine's
Day. David, I hope she's not listening, but I got that for Valentine's Day. We're gonna go the next day. You know. All expenses paid. I'm taking my wife to.
You got my wife. You got my wife that for Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all going. It's gonna be great.
We may not see any more episodes of this podcast if we all take our wives to Inter Miami game. That's true. Let's just say that
it's the best surprise.
What's worse?
We'll see this podcast. all together in the same room going forward because we'll all get divorced.
But what's worse, if the four of us just go by ourselves instead of doing something for Valentine's, or if we take them for Valentine's?
They would probably appreciate not having to go.
If they play like they did against Al Nassr, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that match is next week. So I assume we'll probably do a preview match for that. Hopefully, we'll get some more clarification on Busquets' injury. Maybe we'll see an update on Freire because there's a lot of just like unknown there. To me, that's such a weird situation. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. This is the last preseason match. Finally, I'm excited for the regular season to just be upon us, for the matches to matter to some extent. Like this is all good and well, but at the end of the day, it is preseason, so we can forget about the match from this morning and just move on to the next one. It's just completely inconsequential. So we will preview that match sometime next week, maybe Tuesday of next week. And yeah, for everyone that's been here chatting with us and hanging out with us, thank you so much for stopping by. And as always, thanks for stopping by for the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, and we'll catch you on the next one.